Welcome everybody to today's stream. I hope everyone's having a good day. The stream today is a device setup, onboarding, and obviously best practice. And at the end of the stream, we will be addressing questions. I see we already have some viewers in the chat. That's a beautiful thing to see. We do have two mods in the chat from the Ledger team that will help answer any questions you guys have during the stream. And yeah, we'll get started here shortly. Hope everyone's having a good day. Of course, already see questions coming in. So those questions will be addressed during the stream. Give a few more minutes. How's everybody doing? I think it's a beautiful time to learn how to self custody your assets correctly, best practice, and of course, right, how to dive into the Ledger ecosystem and learn everything revolving around that. So we'll get started here shortly. Today, I will be doing a Ledger Nano S. Let me change the screen here so you guys can see a better view. I will be doing a Ledger Nano S. This is a collab. Let me show you guys. These specific nanos are community and event based. Obviously, if you guys hold a Ledger Market Pass, you will get exclusive, access to, exclusive NFT drops and Ledger products that come out in the future. But as far as like these designs go, right, they're going to be exclusive to events and communities, right? Certain communities that you're involved in, you'll get exclusive access to some of these. So we'll just give a few more minutes and we'll get started here shortly. Hope everyone's having a good day. Of course, I want to show you guys the Nano X as well. So the Nano X, we're not going to be doing the Nano X today, but I will show you guys how the Nano X works a little bit later on in the stream. So of course, the Nano X, let me see here. So the Nano X, for better viewing, the Nano X, the Nano S, in terms of security functionality, these are all going to work the same, right? The only difference is really going to be design and Bluetooth. With the Nano X, there is Bluetooth. And what that means is you're going to be able to use Ledger Live Mobile. For those of you guys who like using your phones, right? We have quite a bit of mobile users. I do have a Ledger mobile stream coming out soon. We're just working on the back end stuff, trying to get a phone and everything set up. And I'll definitely show you guys how to set up Ledger Live Mobile. But yeah, with the Ledger Nano X, it has batteries, so you don't need to have your USB cable. This cable that comes with the device plugged in for the Nano to work. But with the Nano S Plus, you do because there's no battery. All right. But without further ado, I hope. Yep. So we do have questions coming in, which is good. We have mods addressing that. So without further ado, let's get right into the unboxing. I already did a little sneak peek unboxing for you guys, right? So of course, we are doing the Nano S Plus special collab edition. You guys can see here, right? Gold, pretty cool. Pretty cool, pretty cool. You guys can see every device is going to come with this orange sheet, right? This orange sheet is going to be very important for you guys. The reason why is because it's going to contain 3 sheets of recovery phrase, like a sheet where you can store your recovery phrase or write down your recovery phrase. These 3 sheets are going to be very important because the recovery phrase generated on the device is what you're going to want to put down right here, okay? When you write it down right here, I strongly recommend you guys read this before you even set up your device, right? It's going to give you all the details you need to know as far as the recovery phrase goes. I'll also discuss it later on in the stream, but it's very important that you only write it down on this piece of paper, all right? You never want to put it anywhere. You don't want to do what I'm doing, right? Record a live stream, obviously educational purposes only, but you don't want to take a picture of it. You don't want to store it on Google Docs or any encrypted server online, right? Because that does leave a vector of attack for your recovery phrase, right? And as you guys know, or those of you guys who don't know, your recovery phrase is your master key to your funds and assets on the blockchain, right? Very important. Okay, so moving on. Open this. We're going to get this ledger start. Okay, now ledger start just gives you guys details on Ledger Live and how to get started, how to set it up, stickers, and other miscellaneous stuff. Okay, so you guys can check that out. These are all going to come with the Nano X as well. Okay, so let me put this back. Hope everyone's having a great day. All right, so the next thing is charger, okay? The charger is very important. Okay. It's gonna come with a keychain. You guys can see right there. You can attach this to your Nano S or Nano X. With a charger, okay? This charger, it is a data cable which allows you to charge the device or power up the device as well as connect to Ledger Live, okay? So moving on, we will plug it all in and get started here. Okay, so here, this is the Nano S. Security functionality between the Nano S Plus, Nano X are gonna be the same, okay? So plug it in, okay? It's just gonna take a minute here. Let me wrap this around so you guys can see a better viewing. Okay, so this is a common issue with a lot of people. As you guys can see, the device is not turning on, right? And the reason why the device is not turning on is this cable has to be very tight, okay? You guys can see there's a little bit of space. As soon as I jam it in, boom. There, now it turns on, okay? So a lot of users who have the Nano S Plus may be running into that issue. You guys are like, oh, my device isn't working. Why is it not working? Well, the reason why it's not working is these like the USB port has to be very tight. Like you have to jam it in. Okay, so you guys can see here, it's gonna say welcome. Okay, let me move this camera angle. You guys can see it's gonna say welcome. In terms of the button functionality, it's hard to see because it's so dark. This right button, the button to the right, button to the left. Okay, so I want to go to the right. I click this, left, this. If you want to confirm, you're going to click both buttons, okay? So we're just going to go to the right. One says download Ledger Live at ledger.com/start. That's right. Use buttons to navigate menus and lists. Press both buttons to select. So like I said right here, hold both buttons anytime to access settings and more, aka the control center. Start Ledger Live for help during setup. Okay, this step will be addressed during the stream as well. Set up as new device, restore from recovery phrase. All right. So before we get going, I'm gonna explain both these very important setup process. Right. So we have the setup as new device. This process is gonna be very important for those of you guys who are just getting a Ledger. Okay. The reason why this process is very important is because anytime you guys get a Ledger, make sure you guys see these two. Set up as new device and restore from recovery phrase. All right. The reason why is because you don't want to buy a Ledger device that has been pre-generated or a recovery phrase has already been, imported in the device, and the scam or hackers trying to trick you into using the device. They might be like something like this. Let me show you guys. If a scammer does something like this, they're like, hey, this is your 24-word recovery phrase. Use it, right? You never want to use a recovery phrase that has been given to you, right? You always want to generate the recovery phrase on the device and you write down the 24 words yourself, okay? So moving back, so with the setup as new device, right, Ledger derives its security from two things, right? The first thing is going to be the recovery phrase generated completely offline, right? And obviously with the recovery phrase, it derives your private key and public key, right? The public key is basically like your email address. It's the address derived from your private key, right? So all the, let's say your Ethereum address, all those addresses are public, right? If someone has that, it's not going to really affect you, but if they have your private key, they can access your Ethereum account, right? Ledger derives its security from, like I mentioned, recovery phrase generated offline. What this means is basically no one has access to your recovery phrase other than you, right? Obviously, if you do what I'm doing, right, you're exposing your recovery phrase. Like I mentioned earlier in the stream, do not do that. The second thing is your private keys are safely secured by the Ledger, right? That's very important. And then with this step, restore from recovery phrase, this step is for like backup devices, right? If you have multiple Ledgers like me, you're gonna, use these as backup. Obviously, this is when you import your recovery phrase. So let's say your recovery phrase, you want to import your recovery phrase on another device, or let's say this device specifically breaks and you buy a new Ledger, you can import it using this option, okay, guys? And what this option is going to do is it's going to allow you to access the same accounts as you were already had access to with the old ledger, right? Every recovery phrase is going to be associated with one ledger at a time. Obviously, I'll also show you guys what happens if you have multiple recovery phrases if you're able to access the same accounts, right? So obviously, I'll show you guys later on in the stream. But for this video, we're going to set up as new device, okay? And I'm going to write down the recovery phrase. This step might take a little bit. For those of you guys who are in here just asking questions, feel free to ask questions. I'll address your question later on in the stream as well. Okay, so I'm gonna write this down, get a paper and pen. Okay, so set up the new device. Like I mentioned, double these two buttons. Okay, we're gonna press it both at the same time. Boom, choose pin. The pin is just local to device, guys. Okay, so if you ever forgot your pin, no worries. As long as you have your recovery phrase, you're all good, okay? What you're going to do is you're just going to do a factory reset. What that basically means is your device is going to essentially wipe clean, and you're just going to do what I told you guys earlier in the stream, restore from recovery phrase, okay? We do have a security mechanism built in that automatically wipes the device clean, basically performs a factory reset when you put in the pin wrong 3 times, okay? So if someone ever stole your ledger device and they're trying to, steal your funds, they would need to basically guess your pin in 4 tries, okay? So once again, for your pin, don't do what I'm doing. Don't do 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So I'll just do I'll do a harder pin. I'll do 2. No, I'll do this actually. 9, 6, 5, 8, okay? So that's gonna be a harder pin for someone to guess if they ever stole my ledger. Okay, so we're just going to do this. 9658 is a pin, confirm pin. Once again, guys, this is to the left, this is to the right, confirm, okay? Now we're going to write down your recovery phrase. Like I mentioned earlier in the stream, the only place you should ever write down your recovery phrase is here. And of course, we do have some backup options that I'll show you guys real quick. I'm not going to go too in-depth into it, but it's very important. So this is a backup alternative, right? So what it basically does is it's going to back up your recovery phrase. It's metal, so obviously with the piece of paper right here, right, it's pretty good quality paper, to be honest, but of course paper can rip, okay? Like if you have a dog or something, obviously you want to secure it in a safe, but you never know, right? So I strongly recommend you guys look into other backup alternatives as long as a backup alternative is not online, okay? Going back to here, we're going to write down a recovery phrase now. So right here, it's going to say write down your recovery phrase, okay? Your device will generate 24 words. They are your recovery phrase. It is your only backup to restore your accounts if needed. Write it down on your recovery sheet in the correct order. Press both buttons to continue. Once again, guys, Ledger does not store any private information. So for any reason you lost your recovery phrase, there's no way for us to help you recover your funds, okay? So understanding that your recovery phrase and securing it is paramount to everything when it comes to crypto, NFTs is going to be very important for your guys' well-being and keeping your assets safe, okay? So we're just going to speed through this process. The first word is proud. So we're just going to write it down. I'm going to go through this process and explain a few more things here. Proud. So with these words, some of you guys who may be asking how are these words generated, right? It's generated using a random number generator. All these words are going to derive off something called a BIP39 standard. It's basically a standard. It's a word list and a few different things. You guys can go check that out. But it's going to be 2,048 possible words used for recovery phrase. Another thing is the same word on the recovery phrase, or your 24 words, right? There can be the same word twice, okay? It just makes it more unique. That's perfectly fine, completely safe, okay, guys? So proud is the first word. Second word is nation. Let's keep going. Hope everyone's getting their questions addressed. I see we have a few people asking about stacks, which is really cool. Very cool product coming out, very innovative by the Ledger team. Exchange. Of course, guys, when you write it down, you want to write it down in the correct order. We also have a recovery phrase check for those of you guys who already have your recovery phrase stored and you want to check if you've written it down correctly. I I strongly recommend you guys check that out. It's called the Recovery Phrase Check app. You will find it in Ledger Live. Basically, what it does is it checks if the recovery phrase that you wrote down or you put into the app is the one associated with your device. Okay, so this pen is using ink. Uncle. Oh, major. And you guys might have 12-word recovery phrases generated from software wallets. You never want to put those into Ledger because basically what you're doing is you're not really doing anything, to be honest, right? Your recovery phrase has already been exposed to the through the software, right? So like MetaMask is going to generate you the 12 words for many people that already know. You don't want to put that into your ledger, okay? And this, okay, so this pen is losing ink, so I need a new pen. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to go get a new pen. All right, guys. Sorry about the inconvenience. That pen lost ink. So we're rejuvenated. We're back. Turtle. This pen is. Oh. Okay, so this pen is not working as well, guys. We're just gonna have to use another pen. All right, let's see if this pen works. All right, let's see. All right, perfect. We got a pen that works. Cool. All right, so, yep, I see questions getting addressed. Marcus, I don't recommend that, Marcus. Not do that. Not safe, but moving on. The 12th word is area. Remember what I said, guys. The only place you should ever write down your words and store it anywhere is on the sheet. And of course, for those of you guys who are like, oh, the sheet, something can happen to the sheet. Invest in, backup alternatives, right? We have a few on our site. I can probably show you guys maybe in the future stream on how to set it up, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so this person asking questions about stacks. I'll try my best to answer some after I finish setup process. Okay, so install trace brass. When you do this step, guys, it's very important that you guys take your time. You don't want to rush through it. Obviously, I'm rushing through it just video's sake, but it's very important that you guys take your time, right? Because these are your basically your key to your funds on the blockchain, right? I like to think of it like your house key, right? Let's say you have a bunch of assets in the house. You have your car keys, you have furniture, you have TVs, electronics, right? If someone has your key, they can take everything. Treat this recovery phrase kind of like that basically is, but in real world terms. Yeah, so we have that set up. Now we're gonna verify and confirm your recovery phrase. So this step, I'm just gonna breeze through. I might be a little silent, guys. Feel free to ask any questions, but I might be a little quiet during this step. Okay, proud, wide, Jane, Cliff, please, uncle, no, major, treat, turtle, area, right, guilt, form, solve, grace, tiny, brass, okay, so my recovery phrase is set up. Now Like I mentioned, we don't store any private information. So if lost, stolen, or forgotten, all your assets will be immutably lost. Never share it with anyone. Ledger will never ask you for it. Press both buttons to continue. Boom. Now we're processing. All right. So Shahin, you don't have to do that, Shahin. You can do what's called a recovery phrase check app. I'll show you what that is. Um, Basically, what that'll do is it'll basically do what you're doing without having to wipe your device clean. Okay. Um, and I'll show you how to do that later on in the stream. Okay. So moving back to device. Now our device is all set up. When your device is all set up, it's gonna look new like this. Okay. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to download Ledger Live. So what you're going to do, you're going to go to ledger.com. For those of you guys who don't know, we have a new product coming. Feel free to check it out. I'll discuss a little bit about stacks later on in the stream. But it's a new product coming out in Q1 of 2023, I believe. Anyways, first thing you're going to want to do is go to ledger.com, Ledger Live, okay? You're going to want to click download the app. You're going to download Ledger Live corresponded to your operating system, whether it's Windows, Mac, Linux. It's going to be very important that you have read over the technical requirements to see if your device or your desktop can run Ledger Live. Okay. Next thing is as soon as you download that, you're going to get something like this. Okay, Ledger Live. Now, during Ledger Live, it's going to perform a genuineness check. I'll show you guys what that is and explain to you guys what that is, of course. So we're going to click get started. For today's video, we're going to do Nano S Plus. Hi, Happy Farmer. What's up? So now we have, oh, we're going to do this right here. You already have a recovery phrase. All right, the genuine check. This genuine check is very important. This process you should do every time you set up a Ledger device, right? This step is basically going to check if your Ledger device has been tampered with, if the firmware has been compromised inside the device. This step is very important to see if your device is good to go or if there's something wrong with it, okay? So we're going to check our Nano. Check my Nano. Now, what you're going to do is it's going to say allow Ledger Manager to device. Remember what I said. You are going to want to double click to confirm, okay? Confirm. Back to Ledger Live. Boom, it's all good. Just like that, device is genuine, everything's good to go. You're gonna click continue. Terms of service, terms of use, very important to just check out. I know a lot of you guys don't check it out, but I strongly recommend you guys check this out if you guys are using, any of our apps in Discover tab. Okay, so as far as all the tabs on the left go, we're just going to break it down. Portfolio, we don't have anything yet, so let's just add our account. But before we even do anything, my best practice to you guys is always to check my ledger. This step is going to ensure that you are on the latest firmware, okay? Latest firmware, and boom, you guys can see firmware is outdated, so we're going to have to update the firmware, okay? For video's sake, let's just do that real quick, and I'll tell you what what to look out for, right? Before you update, sometimes when you update your firmware, your device could be wiped clean, so make sure you have the recovery phrase. But yeah, it just tells you what the notes are for the firmware update, okay? So I have my recovery phrase, continue. Now it's just going to take a few minutes. And of course, on the Ledger device, okay, processing. Okay, so we're just going to wait. I see we have a few questions coming in. New firmware, confirm update. Okay, bootloader mode. It's going to take a minute. That's going to take a minute. Boom. Now the firmware has been updated. Okay, so of course, put in our pin. Okay, so that has been set up. Now our firmware is updated in Ledger Live. The next step is install apps. Nano X more secure than Stacks. No, security is going to work the same. Dogen, right? With um, with the Stacks, right? It uses the exact same secure element found in our ledger products. Ledger or level security is going to be no different. Um, yeah, you are good in terms of if you have a Nano X, you're good. Basically, Stacks is just really an easy use, right? What's up, RH? I remember you. All right, so let's download some apps and get moving. I don't have a Stacks on hand to show you guys, but there's plenty of videos of it from our Twitter page showing you kind of how it works. And even on our website too, we have some images. So now we have our firmware updated. The first thing is we're going to install some apps. Installing apps, you're just going to go to My Ledger. We'll install Ethereum, install Polygon, and we'll install Bitcoin. As soon as we install that, we will be able to add our accounts. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. RH, how are you doing? You doing all right? Hope you're doing good. Okay, so we have some accounts ready to be added. So nope, nope. Dogen. Stacks uses the exact same secure element chip found in their other ledger products. Yep, exactly. Thanks, Brady. Okay, so we have a few apps installed, so we are ready to add some accounts. Were you able to bridge? I think you asked a question on bridging, right? Were you able to bridge using a Hop Exchange? I think that was an article that I linked you last week, RH. But okay, so let's go to portfolio. Let's add some accounts, okay? And I'll also show you guys how NFTs look in here. So let's add Ethereum. Okay, so every time you add, you will need to message on the device. Add accounts. It's gonna take a minute. Take a minute here, as you guys can see. An account. Okay, so we added an Ethereum account. Obviously, there's going to be no funds on this specific account because we just set up our accounts. Okay, so now we're going to add another account. I'm going to show you guys a few things why the recovery phrase and understanding what the recovery phrase is so important here in a second. Exactly. Yep. Security is the same, Dogen. Security is the same. The reason why someone would get a Stacks is it's just way easier to use. Has cooler features such as the e-ink, right? There's a few different things, but basically it allows you more, I'd say, more functionality, right? You can have your NFT on or display on the Stacks front screen, okay? If you're into NFTs, right? So if you're into NFTs, I highly recommend you check out Stacks. Okay, so now we have two accounts added. Now, what are we going to do? We are going to put in a or plug in another ledger. Let me see. The reason why we're going to plug in another ledger is because I want to show you guys what happens when you don't have the correct recovery phrase. Okay, so that is. I don't know where it went. All good. Right here. Perfect. So as you guys can see, we have two ledger accounts set up, right? This is associated to one recovery phrase. One thing to note, guys, is Ledger Live is just a software that scans all your accounts on the blockchain, lets you visualize things and manage your funds. Obviously, every time you perform a transaction, you will need to sign the message on the device. And I'm going to show you what happens if you have multiple recovery phrases, what error you're going to get. Okay, so this is another ledger that I have. This has an entirely different recovery phrase compared to this one. Okay, so show you guys, as you guys can see here, these accounts belong to the Nano S. Now let's plug in the Nano X. Okay, plug in the Nano X. What happens? Okay, so Plugging it in, or pin. This one is a work ledger, so the pin is just 1, 2, 3, 4. Guys, don't make your pin 1, 2, 3, 4, just in case, that's the most obvious guess for a person that steals your device. Okay, God forbid. But of course, now, of course, you guys can see I have a bunch of apps downloaded. Now let's go in Ledger Live. Okay, so now let's add. Well, first let's add our Polygon account. Okay, so add Polygon just because it's easiest in terms of fees. Show you guys what happens. This step is very important, okay? That you never get your recovery phrase confused. It's going to take a minute here to synchronize. And I'll also show you guys how to swap as well, okay? Using a DEX. Okay, so we'll just rename it Polygon X1, Polygon X2, okay? So once again, guys, this Polygon 1 account is associated to my other Nano S, okay? So let's see what happens when I try to do anything with it, okay? See what happens. You're gonna click receive, continue, okay? Boom, something went wrong. Please check that your hardware wallet is set up with the recovery phrase or passphrase associated to the selected account, okay? The reason why it's giving me this error because the recovery phrase of the Nano X of this device doesn't match this. And the Polygon 1 account belongs to this recovery phrase on this specific device, okay? Now if we go back to Ledger Live and see what happens when I do select the right account, such as Polygon X, see what happens, okay? Click receive, continue, and boom, it works. Okay, so that's just one thing I wanted to show you guys. Of course, we're going to verify the message, as you can see here, because I'm going to show you guys how to perform a transaction. Pretty self-explanatory, but I want to show you guys how to do that proof. Okay, so we approve the address. Now, going back in Ledger Live, before we perform the transaction, I want to show you guys how to view NFT. So we're going to add Ethereum. Of course, every time you add an account, you will need to open the correspondent app to the blockchain. So the Ethereum blockchain will require the Ethereum app. Okay. So it's just going to take a minute here to synchronize, scanning the blockchain to see what Ethereum accounts I have. Boom. Okay, so Ethereum 1 has been added. I'm going to rename this account just so I don't get mixed up. I highly recommend you guys rename your accounts to know which, if you guys are managing multiple devices with different recovery phrase on the same Ledger Live. For example, good, world use case is, for your kids, right? You want to get them into crypto, or for your wife, you guys want different recovery phrases. This is a great option to organize things, okay? So X1, okay, so to view NFTs, you can click Ethereum 1 or whatever account the name is, and the NFT should appear right here, okay? It's going to be very self-explanatory. Latest operations is going to be right here. View gallery, or see gallery, excuse me. You guys can see your NFTs. Tokens. Tokens are supported on various networks. To make sure your token supported, what you can do is you can go to accounts, add accounts. Let's say I want Shiba and I want it on the BSC network, right? We know right here, this box right here means that it's supported on the Ethereum, and you will be able to see Shiba under Ethereum. But let's say for BSC, okay, it's supported on BSC as well. So if you had a Binance account added, you will be able to see that as under this, where it's going to say show tokens. Your tokens will appear right here, okay? So let's just perform a transaction. Let's just perform a transaction to show you guys how smooth it is, right? So let's say we want to transfer Polygon from this account to X2. Same thing's going to apply when it comes to sending to an exchange, right? The exchange is going to provide you with a wallet address, aka a public key. Okay. Open Polygon app. Address is just going to right here. Verify it. verified on the device. The good thing about a ledger device is what you see on this device cannot be tampered with, whereas a computer, the message you see on the computer could be tampered with, right, through malware and viruses, right? So make sure we verify the address, approve. Now we're gonna go back in Ledger Live and just perform this quick transaction. As soon as I perform this transaction, guys, I will show you guys how to do a swap. Okay, swapping is very important if you want to, swap coins or tokens. Not coins, but tokens. If you want to swap coins, you will have to go through an exchange. But I'm going to show you guys how to swap using Index. Dex is a decentralized exchange. Okay, so let's just do one Matic. Gas fee is going to be medium. Continue. Okay, so now we're gonna confirm. Okay. Now it's a transaction just broadcasting and boom. All right. So it's pretty self-explanatory to send. Very simple. Okay. You guys can see there. One Matic has been sent to X2. Okay. So now what are we gonna do? We're gonna swap. To swap using a DEX, we have two great providers, Paraswap and 1inch. I will use 1inch for today's video. Let's see what it is. Been removed. Oh no, it hasn't been removed. Okay, 1inch. Okay. I see. Very laggy, right? Okay, there you go. Continue. So swap, this is what the swapper user interface looks like. At the top, drag down right here, you're going to be able to select your account and networks. When you're using a DEX, you're not bridging your assets, right? So you can't go from Polygon to Ethereum. You have to swap on the network that you selected, right? So we're just going to swap on Polygon. We're using Polygon X2. We're going to swap one Matic for, we could do anything. The USDC. So yeah, we'll just do USDC as stable coin just for video's sake. And you guys can see here that the rates are really going to vary on liquidity. Liquidity basically means how easy it is for you to swap from one asset to another. Basically, if a pool has lower liquidity, you're going to pay higher fees in terms of slippage, right? So it's very important that you understand the rates and how much liquidity a certain pool has. I know with Paraswap, it's going to show you all the pools or all the dexes and give you the best rates. I'm pretty sure 1inch is the same, but it doesn't show you. Let me show you guys how Paraswap looks. You guys can see what I'm talking about. Because, yep, you guys can see here all the different dexes, and it's going to show you the rates, okay? It's going to show you the rates and the fees. So I'm going to swap one USDC, or yeah, we'll just swap or no, we'll swap Matic because I have Matic. We'll swap Matic to USDC. Polygon X2, we'll swap one Matic for one USDC. New trade, firm order. Okay, so the reason why I have this is because I don't have the Paraswap app open. Okay, so when you do these transactions, you will need Paraswap app. So, okay, fresh it. Have to swap. Now let me show you guys how that looks. So yep, once again, rates. Okay. Second here, trade. Firm order. Okay, so not too sure why this is the case. We'll just use 1inch then. 1inch. Of course, if you guys have any issues, contact support so we can look into it. We'll do Matic 1, Matic for USDC. Of course, if you guys want to swap tokens, you guys can as well. With tokens, it's going to be a two-step procedure because you're going to have to approve what's called a token approval. You're going to have to perform or approve a token approval, spend approval. Basically, what that means is it's going to allow the smart contract to perform the swap, whereas a native currency such as Matic, you won't have to. So the rates are really going to vary. Swap, and of course you can receive USDC to another Polygon wallet, but no. Okay. Okay. Details there. On transactions, just going to take a minute. Just going to take a minute here. Like I said, you do need the apps. We do have the 1inch app downloaded now, so it's going to take a minute here. Just going to take a minute. View transaction. Let me show you guys what that looks like on the device. Review transaction. 1inch swap, send, Matic, receive, USDC, beneficiary, partial filled, network Polygon fees, acceptance, send. Now we go back to Ledger Live, and now the transaction is being broadcasted and it has been confirmed. Just like that, swap worked in like 10 seconds. Super quick, super simple. You can do this with multiple tokens, right? 1inch and pair swap has multiple options. Okay, so that's how you swap. Of course, send. I showed you guys how to send. Transaction's been approved. You can view it on the Block Explorer here. Receive. Once again, select the accounts, get the address. Buy and sell. This tab is very important as well for those of you guys who just want to buy directly through Ledger Live. Don't want to go through an exchange in terms of the convenience of sending or buying on the exchange and sending. If you want to buy directly in Ledger Live, you can do it here. Swap. This is for swapping coins such as Cardano, such as Bitcoin, right? Want to go from Ethereum to Bitcoin, you'll use the swap tab. Okay. Card that is going to be region dependent. You guys can find out more information about that here. Portfolio, like I mentioned, it's just going to view your operations and your accounts. Market, this is kind of like Coin Market Cap or CoinGecko. It's going to allow you to view how the overall market's doing in terms of market cap, price fluctuation, things of that nature. Up here is just the information center. Nothing too crazy. Status, telling you the status of Ledger Live. Toggle discrete mode. This mode's cool if you want to just hide your balance, right? Boom. Simple. Help. This is how you guys can contact us. Settings. Settings is another cool. There's quite a bit of things in here, right? The first thing is password lock for those of you guys who have kids. You guys can put on a password lock, so every time you enter or open up Ledger Live, you'll have to enter password to be able to access your portfolio, theme, dark, light, etc. Accounts is also cool. This is for taxes or operation history, high tokens, hidden NFT collections, about. This will tell you your Ledger Live version. Guys, make sure your Ledger Live version is on 2.50 if you're on desktop. Help, clearing cache. What clearing cache does is it'll resync your accounts up with the blockchain. If up here is like a red X, buy setup, user data, repair your Ledger device, and of course reset Ledger Live. Experimental features, I wouldn't really touch this, but yeah, that's basically as far as the Ledger Live Ledger device setup goes. If you guys have any more questions, I'll stay here for about 15 to 20 more minutes and address your guys' questions. Was a great stream. Hope I helped some of you guys learn a few things. But yeah, let's take some questions. Let's see what we got. I see. Yep. Brady address you, Jason. Thank you, Brady. Let's see what we got. Question, but how do I add it to my ledger? Already got that. But yeah, guys, I want to just discuss a few things regarding Stacks. So Stacks was made, right? So there was a lot of feedback involved that people wanted, a touch screen, and Stacks fixes that. It's a bigger screen, of course, and the easy use. Clear signing is a big feature. But yeah, with the touchscreen experience and the e-ink technology, I think it's a great product. Can I store XDC on Ledger X? So once again, guys, nothing is actually stored on your Ledger device. All Ledger does is secure your assets. If you're referring to Ledger Live, you'll most likely have to view XDC on my crypto wallet, just because XDC is a little different. It's an EVM, but let me see. Actually, I don't believe you can XDC. There is the ERC20 version, yeah. So you'll have to use a third-party wallet to manage XDC. Yeah, so with the orange and purple Nano X, it's just we were sold out. Yeah, no problem. We were just sold out with the Ledger colored ones, but we should be restocking hopefully soon. But like I said, they all work the same in terms of functionality. So if you're eager to get one that you just want to secure your assets, the regular one should work fine. Of course, I understand if you want to color one for aesthetic reasons, that's perfectly fine as well. What else we have here? Let's see what else we have. You have the purple one. Who wants it? That's funny. Let's see here. Question. Yes. When Ledger Stack setup? Ledger Stack setup. I don't have a Ledger Stacks. We don't have one in the office here yet. I don't know, but hopefully we can do that before or right when it comes out. I think it should come out Q1 of the end of Q1 of 2023. When will Ledger be on MetaMask app available? No ETA on that yet. Oh, we do have Ledger Connect coming soon, which kind of acts similar to that. I bought the black and the purple, and then came the Saks. That sucks. It's all good, man. I mean, you could use those two, right? The purple and um, the black and the purple one, right? Just as the backup. I highly recommend you guys get a backup, right? Before I worked at Ledger, I had two ledgers, so it's never a bad time to get a few just in case something happens to one, right? And you need to move your funds immediately, right? If you don't have a backup one, what are you gonna have to do? You're gonna have to go to the store. If the store, a retailer sold out, you're gonna have to order on Ledger.com, right? That could cost you quite a bit of money when markets are moving. Okay. Is Ledger Nano X easily hackable through the Bluetooth feature? I thought only if they had your C and actual ledger in hand, right? Correct, XRP. Yeah, the Bluetooth, no one can hack your. If your question is if the recovery phrase or private keys extractable from the device, it's not, right? The only time that the recovery phrase is ever going to be generated is the one time during the setup process, right? After the setup process, you're never ever going to be able to see it again on the device, okay? And your private keys, you guys can't get that through Ledger Live, right? You'll have to use other applications. Can I get a job with Ledger? I'll give up my job as a casino executive. Yeah, Mike. I mean, you can check out our website to see what fits your skill set. Just go to ledger.com, go to careers. Great company to work for. Let's see. Gotcha. Yeah, you had four ledgers. Damn, you have quite a bit. Quite a bit. What other questions you guys have for me? You guys want to see anything in Ledger Live? I mean, I'm here to help you guys out in terms of navigating through the Ledger ecosystem and even through a little bit through the crypto space in terms of security focus, right? We're focused on security, but I can obviously address questions revolving anything crypto. Let's see what else we have. Will the orange and purple colors come um, Christmas? I don't know for sure. Hopefully. I know for Christmas, quite a bit of people, right, are gonna shop some ledgers for their friends and family. Let's see what else question, what other questions we have. Does Ledger Live support ERC 1152 NFTs? Yes, it does. My Ledger Nano S screen, damn, stored it. Yeah, with the Nano S screen, right, it's probably because, right, over 4 years, right, the screen is gonna dim. Um, since it's past a 2 year warranty, we can't replace it for you. But I highly recommend you upgrade to the Nano S Plus. XRP Connect coins. What is the minimum amount to stake dot through Ledger? So Ledger actually doesn't set the requirements, right? This requirements are set by the Polkadot Foundation. I can check that for you, Rick. Let me check that for you. Let's see. I know Polkadot raises their minimum requirement like every week. I swear. Let me check. Last time I checked, it was like 170 or something. Let's check. Let's see here. New ledger will support smart contract and let me find out the minimum Polkadot. Okay, here. Gotcha. No problem, Rick. I'm just reading through some questions while going on Polkadot.js. Speed a little slow. I'll also link you to on how you can find that. Hello, sir. Question regarding the top two Ethereum layer 2 projects, Arbitrum and Optimism. Can you please advise if these network slash chains will soon be compatible with Ledger and Ledger Live? Yeah, I'll definitely pass that to our devs layer. I know that's right layer twos we're trying to implement. And okay, Tim just looking at me. Yeah, with layer twos, right, we have Polygon and we have I think that's our only layer two. I'm not too sure, but with Arbitrum, hopefully soon. I know you can manage all those EVMs, right, through MetaMask, but your question was Ledger Live. Yeah, so Tim, yeah, you won't receive rewards unless you have about 215. Yeah, so Ledger is in Portland. We have an office in Portland. We have an office on the East Coast, and we also have an office in Paris. But hopefully that answers your question, Rick. If you obviously, I'm assuming you want to stake to earn rewards, right? You have to stake about 215, which is insane because it was like 170. It was like 170 a few weeks ago. Let's see what else we have. Yeah, Mike Mean, correct, correct, correct. I have three Ledger Nano S on being the limited edition Bitcoin one. The Nano X and I have pre-order sacks. No more for a while for me. That's cool, Corey. You got quite a bit of devices, man. I think you're in good shape. You're in good shape. Layer, you also asked I use my Ledger Nano S on my phone with no problem trying to put Ledger Live on my laptop, but says is incorrect. Check word card phrase, and I know it's right? Any ideas? Larry, what do you mean by your laptop says seed phrase incorrect? What do you mean by that? Are you getting the recovery phrase error kind of like this? Let me show you real quick. If you're getting this error, that it means that specific account in Ledger Live that you see. So if you were here early in the stream, I set up or not two devices. I set up a Ledger Nano S, which is this account right here, Polygon One, that has a whole entirely different recovery phrase compared to my Nano X. Okay, so if you click this, you're gonna get an error right here. You're gonna get an error. The reason why you get an error is because the recovery phrase does not match this account. See, if you're getting this error, that just means that you have your um, you're getting this error, that just means you have your accounts mixed up. Okay. Once again, this is the error right here. It's going to say something went wrong. Please check that your hardware wallet is set up with the correct recovery phrase or passphrase associated to the selected account. Okay. My question is, when will the Ledger YouTube page get verification tick? I think we'll probably get a verification tick when we get 100,000 subscribers. So make sure you guys like the video and subscribe to help us get there. This is a more beginner focused stream. We do have a more intermediate and advanced one in the works. So okay. Yep. So ready to address your question, Melissa. Cool, cool. Um, let's see here. I only have one device and one account. What error message are you getting, Larry? Because if you're getting this error message, um, I don't think you're getting this error message. You may be just getting a. If you can like give me the details of what the error message says, um, should be able to figure that out. Of course, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to go to ledger.com, go to support. You guys can contact us directly, and we'll have an agent help you with your case right here. Okay. Okay, so you're getting a different error message. Yeah, Larry, you're gonna have to submit a ticket so we can figure that out. Ledger does not talk to anyone on the phone, so um, going to ledger.com and going to support would be your best bet there. Once I add dash account, add a balance, and second address here I sent to it, but when I, how long will Ledger say private company and will it go public anytime soon? You guys are becoming way successful to stay private. Reason for asking. I don't have an answer to that, Mike, but thanks for the kind words. We certainly strive to do the best in terms of hardware security, uh, self custody, right? So shows that is not. Michael, what error message are you getting, Michael? But yeah, guys, I think I'll stay in here for another 3, 4 minutes. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Ben. Or not Ben. Thank you, Brady, for helping out for today's stream. Yeah, if you guys have any last questions, I'll take them. Otherwise, um, Larry, I tried that and got no solution, but I guess I'll try to get extremely frustrated. Do you have a case number, Larry? If you have a case number, I can check that out for you and make sure that gets addressed because that's not good. If you provide us with screenshots of the error and um, what's going on, yeah, Michael. So if you're getting this message right here, that just means that your recovery phrase, that just means that the recovery phrase on your device is not the same. Um, right. So what you can do is you can here. Let me see. do is you can go to accounts and add account, and it'll basically scan all your accounts associated to your current recovery phrase, right? So all these accounts are local, stored locally. So if I lost my recovery phrase, I won't be able to access any of these accounts, right? Even though I can see it, I can't access it, right? That's a very important concept to understand. Um, but I only use one seed. It could be that you set that account up a while ago. Really not too sure. If you have a case number, you can get in touch with us. But um, yeah, like if I add a Dash account, I'll have no issues. I'll obviously have to download the app. But yeah, I've reset your device or use a second device. I'll add Dash here, and I'll show you that I'll have no problems adding Dash. But if you already have the account added and you're trying to access it and it's not letting you, then your recovery phrase is indeed valid. Um, I know you mentioned that you only had one seed, but the only way you would ever get that error. Oh, you're getting this. Okay. Huh. Oh, hey, if you're getting this, oh, never mind. I think it's just my device that turned off. Turned off right in bad time. Let's retry it again. Should work just fine. See here. Taking a minute. Okay, it's installing. Okay, open Dash app. Okay, so Brady, if you can check on that ticket for me, that would be great. All right, so yeah, I was able to add Dash just fine. We'll have to look at your ticket and take a look. But yeah, guys, it was a great stream today. I have these streams every Friday. I do the device setup best practice. Many of you guys who already have your Ledger Live setup and Ledger device setup, you guys can just come in 30 minutes, like at the end of the stream, usually at around 10:30. That's when I'll start taking questions. And then we also have intermediate streams on Wednesday where I discuss more advanced things such as networks, tokens, peg tokens, UTXOs, things of that nature. And then we have advanced streams that will be coming on in the future. That's on the roadmap that will be discussing how to stake within Ledger Live and different things and explain more advanced things. Yep, but I have these every 10 a.m. Pacific time on Fridays, 1 p.m. Eastern time. We have Twitter Spaces from the U.S. team on at 4 p.m. Pacific. We also have Reddit Spaces coming later today, happening at 2 p.m. But without further ado, that basically wraps it up. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Make sure you guys like the video, of course, and I hope everyone has a great day. All right, guys, I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.